Hey guys, welcome to YouTube channel. We talk all about GATE exam and we are studying DBMS in the normalization. We started discussing the decomposition. So this is where we are going to start with the very first property of the decomposition, that is the lossless join, or also known as non-additive join property. Okay, so commonly it is also said, many textbooks or many faculties use it like lossless decomposition, whether this decomposition is a lossless decomposition or not, but it's basically the property of a decomposition. That means when a decomposition will be said as to be lossless decomposition, when that decomposition will follow this property. Okay, now let's understand what the property is. So assume we have a bigger relation R which have a certain set of functional dependencies FD, okay, and that bigger relation R have been decomposed into multiple tables. Okay, so now because we are understanding the property, so we are assuming that already the bigger table have been decomposed. Okay, so a decomposition D which is done out of the bigger table R. Okay, so a decomposition D which contains multiple tables R1, R2, suppose up to Rk, is lossless if and only if for every instance of R, okay, for every instance of R that satisfies functional dependencies, the following must be true. So this is one statement which defines everything about the lossless join. Okay, what this statement says? This statement says it is performing two types of operations. Okay, let me tell you, you must be noticing them for the first time. So this represents the projection. Okay, this represents the projection in relational algebra, and if you want to understand from the SQL point of view, you can say this represents the selection, okay, in SQL. Alright, and this symbol which you can see, this represents the join. Basically here we are performing the natural join, so this is representing the natural join. So join is basically an operation performed over two or more than two tables to join them. Okay, and we will join them based on some common attribute. Suppose R1 and R2 have a common attribute, some common attribute, like it has AB, it has BC. So if R1 is having AB and R2 is having BC, then B is common. So based on the common attribute B, these two tables will be joined. Okay, and the resultant will have ABC. So that is what we are trying to say in this statement. What the statement says is, when you are taking the projections of the tables, the smaller tables R1, R2 up to Rk, and you join them back, when you join all the decomposed relations or the tables again, you should get exactly same as R. What you should get is exactly same as R, the original table. So wherever you started with, whichever has a lower normal form, whichever had the problem and the flaws, once you have decomposed it into multiple tables, now the multiple decomposed tables, whenever you are joining them together, they should result back to the same parent table. So these becomes kind of child tables. Okay, these are child tables and this capital R is the parent table. So once you have decomposed, once you join them back, you should get exactly the parent. Nothing less, nothing more. Okay, there is hardly a chance of getting something less, but there is certainly a probability. If the decomposition is not done properly, there is certainly a possibility of extra tuples to be there is there. Okay, and that is exactly why the name is non-additive join. So what does it say? It says that there should be no spurious tuple. Spurious simply means invalid, false, or that means it is plausible, it is possible for this tuple to get generated, but this is false in nature. For that respective table, it is false. It shouldn't be there. Okay, so once you are joining the decomposed table, the smaller tables to make the bigger one, the parent table, none of the tuple should be added newly, and none of the tuple which was already present should be not present. Okay, so no, nothing addition, nothing as a deletion should be there. So that is exactly why the name is lossless or non-additive. Although the name lossless does not imply the spurious tuple addition, but it became a very common term to use. So most of the textbooks, most of the literature of the database makes use of this term, but the right word which implies this property is non-additive. Nothing should be added. So now I have taken the example where I'm going to show you how a relation divided into multiple tables need to be joined and how the join is performed and how spurious tuple can be added. Okay, I'm taking an example where you can relate the values. Okay, you understand all the attribute meanings. So we have two tuples, student roll number 1 with name X, branch computer science, again roll number 2 with the same name X and the branch electronics. Okay, so we have two student data. Now this relation R have been decomposed, and also this relation R has a functional dependency which says student roll number determines the value of branch. Okay, so student roll number is determining the value of branch here. Now here this have been decomposed into two tables, one is R1 and the other is R2. Right here in front of you I have decomposed into two tables. This is having student roll number, student name, and the other one is having student name and branch. Okay, so these are the two tables. Now assume there comes a query. The query comes like this. Suppose we have a query. Okay, you just want to know what is the branch of a student whose roll number is 1 and the branch of the student with roll number 1. So guys, the roll number is right here, student number is here, the branch is here. So these are two different tables. Now you see, we don't say that we can easily get it from this table. Okay, because now this table is not existing. We have decomposed it, we have divided it into these two tables. Now once you have divided into these two tables, the idea is you have to get whatever query is coming, you have to get your output, your answer from these two decomposed tables. So this shows the need of joining the two tables even after you have decomposed, because those tables are related. They are divided, but they might be related and they might be needed in future for certain query like this, and you need to join them. So basically what you will have to do is you will have to see what is the connecting point here. The connecting point is name of the student. Okay, so you will have to see the name of the student who is having the roll number 1. Okay, and accordingly for that particular name of the student you have to find out the branch of it. Correct? Whoever roll number is 1, find out its name, look at the name, the same name, and get its respective branch. But it's not that simple, right? We have to perform the query. So I'm just going to write the query at first place, and then I will show you how do we perform that. So we have to select, what do we have to select? We have to select branch, and branch we are selecting from R2. So let me see, R2 dot branch. I understand we have not done the SQL part yet, but it's very simple. Okay, you need not to go in detail, you just need to understand the need of the join operation. So I'm going to select R2 dot branch from. Okay, and now from I'm going to make use of this and this because I'm going to perform the join operation. So from R1 natural join R2, okay, where R1 dot S number is equal to 1. Okay, where R1 dot S number is 1. So I have to get the respective branch name from R2 after performing the join out between these two operations, okay, these two tables, and the respective tuple which should be selected is the respective student number should be 1, the roll number should be 1. So this should be my query. So to perform this operation, this query to run, first of all we are going to do the natural join operation. That means we are going to perform the join between the two, which we reflected in the previous slide in the with this symbol. Okay, so this symbol is going to get executed. What does it do? Now you look at here, everyone. For performing the join operation, you have to look at the common attribute. So what is the common attribute between the two? S name. So join performs on the common attribute. What does it do is it will simply merge the tuples from one table to the another table wherever the value of this common attribute is going to be same. Okay, the tuple from R1 will be joined with the tuple from R2 for which place wherever the value of this common attribute is equal. Okay, so this X is equal to this X, so this is going to merge with this tuple. Okay, this reflect, this is going to merge. Again, this X is same as this X, so this is also going to merge. Okay, so this very first tuple will be merged with this one and with this one. Similarly, the second tuple, okay, the second tuple again has the value of name as x. This will also get merged with this value x and x. So this will also be merged with this and with this. So that is a join. See, this is different from Cartesian product or the cross product, because the Cartesian product does not look at any common attribute or any attribute. It just takes all the tuples of the first table and all the tuples of the second table and merge every tuple with every other table of the second table. So it's like if you have 2 here and the 2 tuples here, it will give you 2 into 2, 4 tuples, without looking at that how they are having common attribute. But that is a benefit of having join operation, that it only connects the 2 tuples when they have the common attribute same value. Okay, so let me just write down what are going to be the result of the join operation. So the R1 natural join R2. Okay, how does it look like? It will contain the attribute S number, it will contain S name, and it will contain branch. So now one more thing, guys, that when you perform the join operation, the common attribute, the attribute which is common between the 2 tables, is written only once. Okay, we don't write it twice because it is going to have the same value. So first tuple matching, so it is 1 x, this is getting matched with x cs, so this is going to be cs. The first tuple matches with the second one, so this is again 1 x with ec. Then second tuple from here will match 2 x with cs, and then again second tuple matches with the second tuple here, so 2x with ec. Okay, so this is going to be the join table. Okay, this is the output of this operation. So that means this is the output of operation performed up till here. Okay, after you have performed this, what you are going to do is you are going to apply the where condition. The where condition says R1 dot S number should be equal to 1. So this is basically R1 dot S number. Okay, this is R1 dot S name and this is R2 dot branch. Alright, so now you have to look for the tuples wherever the student roll number is 1. So wherever the student roll number is 1 is this, okay. So these 2 tuples are selected, and out of these two tuples, what you are going to select is R2 dot branch. Okay, so what you are going to select it, you are going to select this option, that means the CS and EC. So what is the output? Output of this query is computer science and EC. This is going to be the output. This is going to be the output. Now you see, we are going in a very detailed manner to understand what a lossless join is. Okay, or in other words, if it is not lossless join, it is lossy. That means it is going to add something extra, which you can right here see that it has added something extra. Now everyone, from the condition of lossless join, we say that when you join the sub components or the 2 tables which are smaller relations, you join them, you should get exactly same as the bigger or the parent table. So when you are joining the child tables, you should get the parent table. But yeah, now here you have seen this is the parent table, these are the child tables, and now I have performed the join operation. Correct? Now do you find this join same as this parent? It had 1 and 2 tuples. Now how many tuples you have? You have 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right? Right. You had 1x with CS. Okay, fine. So that is correct. 2x with EC. So we have 2x with EC. Correct. But what about these two? What about these two? The right answer, if you look at here of this particular query, the right answer for this was the student roll number 1 has the branch computer science. The answer should have been computer science. But why are you getting this EC? Isn't it wrong? Yes, it is wrong, and exactly this is what I wanted to say, that these are known as spurious tuples. These are known as spurious tuples. That means the invalid tuples. Okay, these are known as the invalid tuples which are unwanted. okay, which are adding unnecessary. This is possible, okay, I mean possible in terms of generation, but it is having false implication. If a student with roll number 1 is having a branch computer science, how a student with roll number 1 can have a branch electronics, correct? Similarly, if a student with roll number 2 is having branch electronics, then how it can have computer science? That's totally invalid information, correct? So this should not happen. The decomposition should be done in such a manner that this situation should not occur. If such a situation occur, what do we say? We say that the decomposition is lossy decomposition. What do we say? It is a lossy decomposition, which we really do not want. Now we need to find out the cause of problem. What is the reason that we got this lossy decomposition, then the lossless decomposition? The problem was the attribute that you selected for decomposing, the common attribute between the two tables. What is the common attribute? The common attribute is sname, okay, sname. So this sname is having the multiple values. It is not a designated attribute. It's not the key or the super key of any of the decomposed tables, correct? Correct. If you decompose with the basis of attribute or set of attributes which are not the key or the super key of any of the child table, then this is going to result into a lossy decomposition. If you see here, the FD which was true here was S number determines the value of branch, correct? Which nowhere says that S name has any power, okay? S name had no power, but while decomposing, we took the S name as a common attribute which was redundant. So because it was redundant, it had the power to generate the spurious tuples. If this would not have been redundant attribute, then it would have led to the lossless decomposition. And let me show you in the next example. Now you will see we have another relation R which have three attributes A, B, C, and the two tuples are given right here, A1, B1, C1, A2, B1, C1, and this has one function dependency, B determines the value of C. Now I am decomposing this table R into two child tables, R1 and R2. R1 has AB and R2 has BC, two attributes, okay? So what becomes their tuples? I have not written, just for us to do it here. So it has A1, B1, the very first tuple, A1, B1. The next should be A2, B1, A2, B1. Okay. Now what should be the tuple in BC? Let's see. BC has B1, C1. Okay. So B1, C1. The next tuple is B1, C1. Again the same. So because we have no duplicates in a table, if we write B1, C1 again, it's the same thing. So it has just one tuple. So we perform the natural join operation between R1 and R2. Okay. So let's perform the natural join, which will result us into A, B and C. Okay. That we have understood already. The common attribute is written only once. This is the common attribute. It will be written only once. So first of all, whatever the common attribute is there, you have to see this particular tuple is going to get merged with this, and this is also going to get merged with this. So it becomes A1, B1, C1. The next becomes A2, B1 and C1. So now this becomes after the natural join. And now guys, please tell me, is it not equal to R? This is exactly same as R. Okay, so no spurious tuple is added. See, the first tuple is this, the second tuple is this. No spurious tuple is added. So we say that this decomposition is a lossless. I think now you can identify, because B determines the value of C. So that means if I take B plus, what does it makes? It makes BC. And if I look into this table, then B determines BC. If I look this R2, okay, then what does B become for R2? B becomes the key of R2, or you can say super key of R2. Okay, naturally this is super key and also the key, because this is minimal in nature. So that is the reason why this decomposition is lossless, and that set the ground for the test condition. The condition is nothing but then very simple condition. The condition one says the whatever common attribute between R1 and R2, it should determine either R1 or the common attribute between R1 and R2 should determine R2. Okay, either the R1 or the R2. So whatever attribute is a common attribute between the two child tables or all the child tables, when you will find, there will be common attributes among all of them, correct, one by one in the pair of 2 2. Then that attribute taken together, if you take that attribute, it should be, if you want to write it in terms of functional dependency, then that becomes the determinant part, and who becomes the dependent? The entire relation becomes the dependent, either the R1 or R2. So guys, mind it, this is OR condition. Okay, it need not to be true for both of them. Either this one should be true or this one should be true. If this is so, then your decomposition is a lossless joint decomposition. Otherwise, it is not. Okay, so this becomes the conditions to check. So whenever you are given a relation R and its respective decomposed set, you need to check. Take the two tables, take the two relations, find out the common attribute, take its closure. Okay, how do you find out that it is determining this? By finding out its closure. So find out its closure and find, if you find either it is equal to R1 or R2, you say that it is very much a lossless join. Okay, so it simply says that R1 intersection R2 should be key or super key of either R1 or R2. Same thing. I mean, I can say it in multiple ways, but the meaning is same. Okay. So yes, you are right. This really took a long time to explain you what a lossless join is, but I hope by the end of this you have understood it completely. It really needed this much discussion at least. In fact, I have a lot number of questions which are just going to be followed in the next video. So by the time, you just stay tuned and come back again for the next video. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.